Howdy, welcome back to Dion Talk. In today's video, I'm going to have a conversation with my two friends. Single family house, howdy, and multi-unit apartment complex, howdy. Sorry if I get a little camera shy, I'm not used to this. I am going to let them talk about the benefits to investing in them, and then I'm going to let each one of them point out the flaws if you invest in the other. And at the end of this video, since I know both of these guys, I'm going to tell you what my solution was. And if this is your first time to my channel, my goal is to teach the average person how to reach financial independence and make work completely optional in less than 10 years, even if you're not starting from the best position. So now let's just jump into the conversation. Single family house, what do you think is one of your positives? Thank you. And thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here. One of the best things about investing in single-family homes is the lending options. We qualify for 30-year fixed rate, low interest rate loans. You can do low down payments if you use owner-occupied. With the VA, you have 0 down. There's FHA with 3.5% down. And it's really easy to house hack with a single-family house. You can rent out rooms so that you don't have to pay the mortgage. Okay, I like that. Multi, what would you say is one of your positives? I like my scalability. It takes about the same amount of time and energy to buy one single family house as it does to buy a 10-unit property. Both good points. Single? Another benefit to investing in me is that single family homes are homes, not units. When people purchase or rent us, they tend to stay. The average person stays in a single family house about 7 years, whereas with an apartment complex, the average is 2 years, and turnover is expensive. I have to agree. Turnover sucks. But one of the things about multifamily apartment complexes is that it's usually a lot more passive. I mean, it's usually professionally managed. And I mean, if you really want to go passive, you can actually invest in a syndication to get into multifamily. You mean like a person can invest in a REIT, a real estate investment trust, where you basically buy stocks? Okay, let's stay on topic. Both can be more passive if you invest in syndications or REITs. That is probably worth its own video. So, multi, another positive? I'm sorry, Dion. Another benefit to investing in me is that with multi-unit apartment complexes, it's a lot easier to force appreciation. I could do some upgrades and raise the rents because my valuation is based on my net operating income. If I can increase my profits, I can greatly increase the value of the property. Yeah, it's true, you can force appreciation. But with the market doing what it is today, my value has skyrocketed without me having to do anything. Right. But how did that work out for you in 2008? Okay, single. Another positive? Space. What? Well, with a pandemic, more people are working at home. They might not want a lot of people living close to them, and a single family house has, more space. Okay, all right, yeah, that makes sense. Multi, another positive? Space is nice, but one of the best benefits to investing in multifamily apartment complexes is that if I have 10 units and one of them is empty, I'm still 90% occupied. All right, this is my favorite argument, and everybody always brings this up. Anybody who likes multifamily or commercial properties always says if they have one unit empty, then they're not completely empty. And that if a single family house is empty, it's completely empty. But do you think with the amount of money that it took you to get that 10-unit apartment complex, I would buy only one house? I'd probably have 8. And if I have one house empty, that means I'm still 80% occupied. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. He's kind of got a point there. And another one of the benefits to having those 8 houses is that I can use one of Dion's strategies. I think I know Dion's strategies pretty well. It's really weird. It's like I can read his mind. And with 8 houses, I can separate them. I can keep them more than 10 miles apart next to economic drivers like a base, a port, a college, a hospital, a Boeing or an Amazon terminal, or a large population. And that way, if they're separate and the base closes down, or a port closes down, or a business moves away, my entire portfolio is not impacted. Whereas if you have 10 units altogether, you're probably pulling your tenants from the same source. That is one of my strategies. I even made this video about that strategy. Multi? Any more benefits? Yes. with more units, I'm able to spread the expenses around and actually have money for things like amenities, a pool, a gym, play area. And how's that going with the pandemic and people not wanting to touch things that other people have touched? Dang. I used to think that was a good benefit, but not today. He looked familiar too. Single? Any other benefits? Well, since I can have a fenced-off yard, I'm a little more kid and pet friendly. Do you mean those kids and pets that tear properties up? Uh-huh, yeah. Wait, yes. Those kids and pets. Okay, we've covered a lot of the positives. Let's look at the negatives. For the positives, we started with single, so multi. Tell me one of the negatives that single family has. Yeah, how long it takes to scale. Growing a portfolio that slow really just doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me. Yep, it does take a while to get those 8 that single family was talking about. Single? What's one of the negatives with multi? Well, the deal breaker for me has always been lending. The commercial loans usually get a worse interest rate, require a bigger down payment, but the biggest negative to me is the loan reevaluation period. It's possible that at the 7 or 10 year mark, you have your loan reevaluated, and since your net operating income doesn't look good at that point in time, you might have lending issues. It's actually kind of easy to work around. You can actually stagger your leases so that you don't have a lot of vacancies when you're doing that loan reevaluation. You hope. And I wouldn't want to get caught living on hopium. To be fair, there is risk with all investing. Okay, multi. What's another negative with single family? Loan limitations. A lot of lenders will only let you have 4 loans in your name, and some will go up to 10. Yeah, that's right. I can only get 10 loans in my name. At that point, I would then have to switch to commercial loans. Those loans you have to start with. And if I'm married, I can get 10 in my name, 10 in their name, and that's a total of 20. You gonna go get married for that? I think I hear my mom calling me. All right, I forgot who I was on. Single. What's another negative with multifamily? Well, parking usually sucks for multifamily. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Parking can suck at both. It's actually been the deal breaker on the last couple places that I looked at. Multi? Anything else with single family that you have a problem with? No, not really. Okay. And single? Anything else? Yeah, really just one thing. Multi, where do you get your hair done? I really like what they've done with the sides. Oh, I've got a guy for you. Come on. Huh. I don't think their cornbread is cooked all the way through. But let's move on to my solution. There is a third category. One that has some of the benefits from single family and some of the benefits from multifamily, but not that many of the negatives. This third category is small multifamily. 2 to 4 units. Gets all of the same lending options as a single family house. You can do 30-year fixed rate, low interest rate loans. You can house hack, which can get you really low down payments. It has a really low turnover rate like single family. In my 10 years of investing, I've only had 1 turnover. And that was because that tenant inherited a house, and it was actually in my single family house that I had the turnover. And the benefit of small multifamily is that it scales faster. If you were to buy 10 fourplexes, you'd have 40 units. It doesn't scale quite as fast as a multifamily, but it scales a lot faster than 1 house at a time. And I often hear people say that there's not a lot of small multifamily in their market, but there are several different versions of small multifamily. If there are no duplexes around you, there's probably houses with an ADU, an auxiliary dwelling unit. Some people call this a mother-in-law house. Basically, 2 houses, 1 property. Numbers work just like a duplex. Sometimes you could take a split-level house and divide it into 2 living areas. Some people build out a basement and make an apartment out of it. Instead of thinking, I can't do that here, try to think, how could I do that here? Single-family house investing, multi-unit apartment complex investing, and small multi-family investing are all strategies that can work. It depends on what type of investor you want to be. In the comments below, let me know who you think won. I hope I made it worth your time clicking on this video today. Hopefully I made you smile because I laughed at myself a lot while I was making this. I was actually thinking of calling this Epic Rap Battles of Real Estate Investing, but there are 2 problems with that. First, I can't rap. And second, I don't have a 10-year-old around here to edit this and make it look cool. If you liked this video, if you thought you got anything out of it, hit like, hit subscribe, share it with a friend, because maybe they need a laugh too. Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.